frequent urination, and persistent pressure in the lower abdomen are symptoms that many people dismiss as a natural part of aging or simply a minor inconvenience. But what if these signals are your body's subtle way of telling you something far more significant? What if these daily discomforts are pointing toward a deeper imbalance that, left unaddressed, could impact your well-being far beyond the bathroom? It's time to take a closer look. Most people experience the urge to urinate multiple times a day, but when that urge becomes unusually frequent or is accompanied by a constant feeling of pressure or incomplete relief, there may be more going on beneath the surface. While it's true that factors like high fluid intake, caffeine, or stress can temporarily increase the need to urinate, recurring symptoms could suggest that your bladder, kidneys, or even your nervous system are struggling to maintain balance. Now here's the surprising part. One of the most overlooked causes of frequent urination is low-grade, chronic inflammation in the urinary tract. This doesn't always stem from infections. In fact, even without the presence of bacteria, certain dietary and lifestyle triggers can cause your bladder lining to become hypersensitive, inflamed, or irritated. And once this process begins, it often perpetuates itself unless you intervene. What makes this even more complicated is that the symptoms are subtle at first. A few extra trips to the bathroom, a little pressure that lingers after urinating. Many dismiss these changes until they become more disruptive. But ignoring early signs can lead to more complex issues, including sleep disturbances, fatigue, and long-term discomfort that affects daily life. And while it's tempting to search for a quick fix, another pill, another powder, it's far more effective to address the root causes. That's why, in this video, we'll be diving into the natural, often surprising contributors to urinary discomfort and how small but strategic changes can bring lasting relief. And here's a promise. At the end of this journey, I'll share a bonus tip that very few people know about. A simple, yet powerful way to amplify the effects of everything we'll explore. But to get the full benefit, it's essential you stay with me through each point. Why? Because when it comes to natural health, getting the dosage, the combination, or even the timing slightly wrong can lead to results that range from ineffective to potentially harmful. This is especially true for sensitive systems like your bladder and kidneys. You deserve more than temporary relief. You deserve understanding. And that begins with recognizing what your body is trying to tell you, before the whispers turn into cries. To truly make a difference, we have to go beyond treating symptoms and begin with what might be causing them in the first place. And believe it or not, one of the main culprits could be hiding in your breakfast. Yes, your morning routine, the foods and drinks you consume before 9 a.m., could be quietly undermining your urinary health. Many of us have been conditioned to believe that certain breakfast staples are healthy or harmless, but the reality may be quite different. What comes next is one of the most eye-opening revelations in this journey, and something you'll want to reconsider tomorrow morning. Because ignoring this next insight won't just slow your progress, it could actually make your symptoms worse over time. And that's something we want to avoid with clarity, not fear. Let's start with something you probably didn't expect. That wholesome-looking breakfast you rely on might be sabotaging your bladder. The connection between diet and urinary symptoms is far more direct than most people realize. And if you're struggling with frequent urination or that nagging pressure, your morning plate could be a hidden trigger. Think about what you typically eat at the start of your day. Is it a bowl of cereal, perhaps a slice of toast with jam, or maybe a quick glass of orange juice? While these might seem innocent, they often contain ingredients that quietly irritate the bladder lining. Let's break it down. Cereals, even the so-called healthy ones, often contain high levels of refined sugar, artificial flavorings, and preservatives. Sugar is particularly sneaky. It not only spikes insulin levels, but can also feed low-grade inflammation throughout the body, including in the urinary tract. The result? A bladder that's more sensitive, less resilient, and quicker to signal the urge to go. But it doesn't stop there. Many people turn to sugar-free alternatives thinking they're making a healthier choice. Unfortunately, artificial sweeteners like aspartame and saccharin, commonly found in diet yogurts, protein bars, and sugar-free drinks, can be just as problematic. Emerging research suggests that these substances may stimulate the bladder directly or interfere with the microbiota balance in the gut and urinary tract, both of which are essential for regulating inflammation and nerve function. And what about that glass of fruit juice? While fruit in its whole form can be beneficial, many bottled juices are highly concentrated in natural sugars and acidic compounds that are tough on an already sensitive bladder. Even freshly squeezed juice, if consumed daily on an empty stomach, may contribute to irritation. A surprising number of people also rely on flavored coffee creamers or energy drinks first thing in the morning. These often contain chemical additives that act as diuretics or bladder stimulants, intensifying the sensation of urgency throughout the day. The bigger issue here is accumulation. One day of this diet may not cause a problem, but day after day, week after week, the body becomes less tolerant. The inflammation builds slowly, and the nerves in your bladder start firing prematurely, creating that uncomfortable pressure even when your bladder isn't full. So what's the alternative? Start by choosing whole foods low in additives and sugar. Oatmeal made from steel-cut oats, topped with unsweetened almond milk and anti-inflammatory fruits like blueberries, is a gentle yet nourishing choice. Eggs cooked in olive oil, paired with steamed vegetables or avocado, can offer protein and healthy fats without the irritating side effects. Herbal teas like chamomile or marshmallow root can also provide a calming start to the day while supporting urinary health. Small changes in your breakfast routine can make a significant difference. But consistency is key. When you start removing irritants from your diet and replacing them with supportive, natural ingredients, the body begins to repair the damage done silently over time. There's a powerful truth in this. Our bodies respond to care, not just correction. When you give your system a break from the constant inflammatory load, it begins to reset, and the symptoms, like urgency and pressure, often start to fade. However, there's one more element that could be working against you, even if your diet is on point. It's not about what you eat, but how and when you drink. And if you get this next part wrong, you could unknowingly overload your bladder in the worst moments of your day. Ignoring this next insight won't just slow your results, it could also lead to frustrating setbacks that you've worked hard to avoid. Even with a clean, supportive breakfast routine, many people still struggle with frequent urination and that lingering pressure. And the reason may lie not in what you're eating, but in how and when you're drinking. Water is essential, no doubt about that. But like most good things in life, balance matters. You've probably heard that drinking more water is always better. But what if that advice, when misapplied, is actually putting more strain on your bladder than you realize? For many people, the problem isn't dehydration. It's overhydration at the wrong time, in the wrong way. Let's start with something simple but powerful. Your kidneys and bladder work on a rhythm. When that rhythm is disrupted, the body compensates. This often means the bladder becomes more sensitive and less capable of holding fluid comfortably. The most common disruptor? Drinking large volumes of water in short periods, especially in the evening. When you gulp down a large glass of water all at once, your kidneys respond quickly, filtering excess fluid and pushing it into the bladder. If you do this before bed, your bladder fills faster during the night, triggering urgency and disrupting your sleep. But it's not just about nighttime habits. During the day, people often forget to hydrate steadily. Then, realizing they haven't had enough water, they try to catch up by drinking a lot at once. While the intention is good, the result is a sudden demand on the bladder, which can already be inflamed or overly reactive. And here's where it gets more interesting. The type of water you drink matters too. Tap water in many regions of North America contains chlorine, fluoride, and even trace amounts of heavy metals or pharmaceuticals. While these levels are deemed safe, they can still be irritants to a sensitive urinary system, especially when consumed in large quantities daily. One of the most overlooked contributors to urinary irritation is water quality. If you're already dealing with bladder sensitivity, filtering your water can be a surprisingly effective step. A basic activated carbon filter, for instance, can reduce common chemical residues and make hydration gentler on your system. Temperature also plays a role. Ice-cold water can be a shock to the digestive and urinary tract. Room temperature or warm water tends to be better tolerated, especially if consumed consistently throughout the day instead of in sudden bursts. So, what's the ideal hydration strategy? Aim for smaller sips spread out over the day. Begin with a glass of water in the morning, then sip slowly with each meal, and continue this rhythm during the afternoon. Avoid loading up on fluids after dinner. Instead, give your body time to process what it needs before bedtime. This small adjustment alone can significantly reduce nighttime urgency and give your bladder time to recover overnight. Consider also adding naturally hydrating foods like cucumber, watermelon, and celery during the day. These offer water in a slower release form, along with nutrients that support kidney and bladder function. Herbal infusions like marshmallow root or cleaver's tea can further aid in soothing the urinary tract without overstimulating it. Your body doesn't just need more water, it needs water delivered with intention. Respecting your body's rhythm, choosing higher quality water, and adjusting your drinking habits can be the turning point from constant discomfort to steady, sustainable relief. But there's one more layer to this story. Even with the best diet and hydration, there's a daily behavior that can quietly undo all your efforts. And the worst part? Most people don't even realize they're doing it. Over time, it can condition your bladder to misfire and your nerves to stay on high alert, keeping you trapped in the very cycle you're trying to escape. And if this one habit isn't corrected, the chances of lasting relief drop dramatically. Worse still, it could lead to complications that ripple out into other areas of your health. So while water is vital, what comes next might be the key to lasting change, and it's too important to overlook. There's a behavior that nearly everyone does without thinking, something so routine that it hardly seems worth questioning. But if you're dealing with frequent urination or a constant sense of bladder pressure, this habit might be working against you in subtle but powerful ways. It starts with how and when you urinate. Many people, especially those who are busy or distracted, fall into the habit of ignoring the urge to go. Maybe you're in the middle of a meeting, driving, or just trying to finish one more task. You tell yourself, "I'll go later," and push through. But every time you delay urination, you stretch the bladder beyond its comfort zone, teaching it to hold more than it should. Over time, this can weaken the signals between your brain and bladder, making the urge to go feel more urgent, more frequent, and harder to control. On the flip side, some people do the opposite. They go to the bathroom just in case, even if the bladder isn't full. This might feel like a precaution, especially before leaving the house or going to bed. But emptying the bladder too often can also backfire. The bladder learns to signal fullness prematurely, even when it's only partially filled. That false sense of urgency becomes a new normal. Both habits, holding too long and going too often, can rewire how the bladder communicates with the brain. The result is a hypersensitive bladder that reacts to even small amounts of urine with a strong need to void. And for people already experiencing inflammation or irritation, this cycle becomes even more intense. Let's not forget posture. Many people rush through bathroom visits, sitting in a slouched or tense position. This restricts the pelvic floor muscles and can prevent the bladder from emptying fully. Residual urine left behind contributes to that constant feeling of pressure or fullness, and in some cases may even increase the risk of bacterial growth. To support your bladder naturally, start by responding to your body's signals promptly, but not reactively. When you feel the urge, don't delay unnecessarily, but also avoid going when there's no real urge. Let your bladder reach a healthy level of fullness before voiding. Create a calm, distraction-free environment in the bathroom. Take your time. Sit fully on the seat, lean forward slightly, and place your feet flat on the ground. This helps relax the pelvic muscles and encourages complete emptying. Don't rush or push. Let gravity and gentle muscle coordination do the work. Another often overlooked factor is the use of certain hygiene products. Scented toilet paper, feminine washes, and harsh soaps can cause localized irritation, leading to inflammation or discomfort that mimics urinary symptoms. Choose fragrance-free, gentle products designed for sensitive skin to reduce the risk of further irritation. Incorporating pelvic floor exercises, commonly known as Kegels, can also make a difference. Strengthening the pelvic muscles not only improves control, but supports proper bladder function overall. The key is consistency and technique. Gentle, focused contractions a few times a day can gradually restore balance and reduce symptoms over time. Bladder health isn't just about what you eat or drink. It's deeply connected to how you listen to and care for your body. Breaking the cycle of urgency and pressure means retraining your habits, your posture, and even your mindset around something as basic as going to the bathroom. But even when all of this is aligned, there's still one missing piece that could drastically shift your results. It's not a behavior, it's a natural remedy. A specific plant extract, long used in traditional healing and now supported by modern research, has been quietly changing the game for people struggling with urinary discomfort. And if you've come this far, you'll want to pay close attention. Because while ignoring bad habits may slow your recovery, ignoring this next step could stall it completely and potentially lead to deeper imbalances if left unchecked. Natural healing often feels like a return to common sense, a gentle nudge from nature reminding us that solutions don't always have to be complex to be effective. That idea becomes crystal clear when we talk about plants that have been used for centuries to support urinary health, yet remain virtually unknown to most people today. If you've adjusted your habits, rethought your hydration, and made key dietary changes, you're already on a powerful path. But to amplify those results and begin addressing inflammation at the source, it's time to talk about one of nature's most underrated allies. The plant is called uva-ursi, also known as bearberry. It's a small evergreen shrub with leaves that have been used in traditional medicine to support bladder and kidney health for generations. Indigenous communities and early herbalists alike recognized its unique ability to reduce urinary discomfort long before we understood the chemistry behind it. So, what makes uva-ursi so special? Its power lies in a natural compound called arbutin. When arbutin is metabolized in the body, it turns into hydroquinone, a substance with antimicrobial properties. This helps reduce the presence of bacteria that may irritate the bladder lining or contribute to low-grade infections, especially when the usual tests come back clear but symptoms persist. And unlike aggressive pharmaceuticals, uva-ursi tends to work gently, supporting rather than overwhelming the body's own healing mechanisms. But it's not just about fighting microbes. Uva-ursi also contains tannins, natural compounds that tighten and tone tissue. In the bladder, this means a stronger, less reactive lining and less of that oversensitive, I need to go feeling that wears down your quality of life. The combined effect of reduced inflammation, improved microbial balance, and stronger bladder tone makes uva-ursi a rare triple-action remedy. Still, with natural remedies, the details matter. Uva-ursi is most effective when taken short-term and in proper doses. Overuse can lead to unwanted side effects, particularly for the liver. This is why it's crucial to respect the plant's power and use it as a tool, not a crutch. Ideally, uva-ursi should be taken as a tea or extract for no more than 5 to 7 days at a time, and not more than a few times per year unless guided by a knowledgeable practitioner. Equally important is the environment in which it's used. For uva-ursi to work properly, your urine needs to be slightly alkaline. That means reducing high-acid foods during its use, such as red meat, processed grains, or sugary beverages, and increasing alkaline-supportive foods like leafy greens, cucumbers, and lemons. You can prepare the tea by steeping 1 teaspoon of dried uva-ursi leaves in hot, not boiling water for 10 to 12 minutes. Drink this once or twice a day, but only during the recommended short-term window. If using an extract or capsule form, always follow product-specific dosage instructions and take breaks between uses. What's remarkable is how quickly many people report improvements when combining uva-ursi with the other strategies we've discussed: bladder-friendly habits, smarter hydration, and reduced dietary irritants. Symptoms often start to soften within days, not because you're masking them, but because your body is finally being supported in a way it recognizes and welcomes. Of course, no single remedy works for everyone. Your experience will depend on your body's unique balance, your level of inflammation, and how consistently you've addressed the root contributors. But when used wisely, uva-ursi can be the turning point, the tool that shifts healing from slow progress to noticeable relief. Now, if you've stayed with me this far, there's one more piece to share. A final, deeply underestimated ingredient that doesn't just complement everything we've covered. It has the power to multiply the benefits and make your recovery more sustainable. But if overlooked or misused, it can limit or even reverse the progress you've made. And that's why understanding it fully could be the most important step yet. Sometimes the difference between healing and frustration lies in the details, the small habits, the forgotten ingredients, or the underestimated tools. One such tool is something you've likely seen at the grocery store or even eaten as a snack, but never realized how powerful it could be for urinary health. It's not an herb, not a supplement, and not a detox trick. It's a seed. Pumpkin seeds, and more specifically pumpkin seed extract or cold-pressed pumpkin seed oil, are one of the most underrated natural allies for those dealing with frequent urination, urgency, or nighttime trips to the bathroom. What sets them apart isn't just their rich nutritional profile, but the way they support the structures and functions involved in bladder control and urinary comfort. Pumpkin seeds are high in zinc, a trace mineral essential for hormone balance and tissue repair. Zinc plays a crucial role in supporting the integrity of the bladder wall and the function of the detrusor muscle, the muscle responsible for contracting and emptying the bladder. When this muscle becomes weak or overactive, symptoms like urgency and incomplete emptying tend to follow. By promoting muscular tone and reducing irritation, zinc contributes to more balanced bladder behavior. But that's just one part of the puzzle. Pumpkin seeds are also rich in phytosterols, plant compounds that reduce inflammation and help regulate hormonal activity, particularly important for those experiencing age-related changes that affect urinary health. These phytosterols can support both men and women, but are especially beneficial for those dealing with prostate-related urinary issues or post-menopausal bladder sensitivity. Studies have shown that consistent use of pumpkin seed extract can significantly improve symptoms of overactive bladder and reduce nighttime urination. In one study, participants who took pumpkin seed extract daily reported fewer episodes of urgency and better sleep, without side effects or dependency. To incorporate this into your daily routine, you have a few options. The simplest is to snack on unsalted raw pumpkin seeds, about a handful per day. But for therapeutic effects, cold-pressed pumpkin seed oil or standardized extract capsules are more concentrated and effective. Look for products that specify dosage and avoid blends with unnecessary additives. When using the oil, it can be added to salads, soups, or taken straight by the teaspoon. It's also worth noting that pumpkin seeds contain magnesium, another mineral crucial for muscle relaxation and nerve function. A deficiency in magnesium is often overlooked in people with bladder issues, yet it can lead to spasms and increased sensitivity. Including pumpkin seeds in your routine provides a double benefit, supporting strength and calm simultaneously. Combined with the other strategies we've discussed, hydration balance, behavioral shifts, reduced dietary irritants, and the short-term use of uva-ursi, pumpkin seed extract rounds out a holistic approach. It's not about quick fixes, but about steady, layered support that lets the body rebalance itself naturally. And that's the key message here. Healing isn't about overwhelming your system with interventions. It's about creating the right environment for your body to do what it already knows how to do. That's the kind of healing that lasts. If you've made it to this point, it means you're committed. You've absorbed knowledge that many never take the time to understand. And with that knowledge comes real power, the power to take control of your health in ways that are safe, natural, and deeply effective. So here's my encouragement. Keep going. Keep asking questions. Keep listening to your body. The more you align with its signals and rhythms, the more progress you'll see. If this journey helped you or someone you care about, consider sharing it. Knowledge becomes even more powerful when it's passed on. Like, comment, or subscribe if this kind of content brings value to your life. Your well-being is worth the attention. And the steps you take today, however small, can lead to comfort, freedom, and peace of mind tomorrow.